Okay, in this video, I'm going to explain you how to rationalize the denominator while dividing with a radical expression. So here we have different questions like question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one by one I will explain you. So if you notice the questions, what is important that you have a square root in the denominator. So everywhere in all the questions you have a in the denominator there is a square root. So whenever we write our answer, we don't write or don't keep the radical sign in the denominator. So our task is to eliminate the square root from the denominator. So in the question 37 upon square root of 5 minus 1. What have you noticed? That in the denominator you have a radical sign. There is a square root. There is a square root in the denominator. So what you have to do in such cases? In the answers you don't require any square root. So for that reason you have to eliminate the square roots or squares or radical signs from the denominator. For that purpose, what you have to do, you have to multiply and divide with the conjugate of the denominator. Now, what is meant by conjugate? So let's have a look on the right hand side. So if square root of 5 minus is written and they ask you to write the conjugate, write the first term as it is and the last term as it is. Just change the sign in between those two terms. It means if you have a negative sign, you have to write it positive. If it was positive, you have to write negative sign. So multiply and divide with the conjugate of the denominator in order to eliminate the square root from the denominator. Now what have you seen that the first 37 is multiplying with square root of 5 plus 1. It means you have to open the brackets using the distributive property. So 37 times square root 5, you will get 37 square root of 5 plus 37 times 1 gives you 37. Now let's check what have you seen or what have you noticed in the denominator. In the denominator, root 5 minus 1 and square root of 5 plus 1 is written. What have you noticed? That the first terms of both the brackets are same. Similarly, the second term of both the brackets are same. And they are separated by different signs, which means in the first bracket there is a negative sign, whereas in the second bracket you have a positive sign, or vice versa. So in such cases where the first and the last terms are same and they are separated by two different signs, you use the formula a plus b times a minus b, which is equals to a square minus b square. Practically, they have opened it with the distributive property, simplified, and after all, in the end, this is the end result they get. So rather than opening and wasting your time, you directly apply this formula. So a, here in your situation, a is the first term, that is square root 5, and b is 1. So you have to write a square, which means square root of 5 whole square, minus b square, that means 1 whole square. Now square cancel with square root. So now in the numerator, whatever you get, you can write as it is. And now in the denominator, 5 minus 1 square means 1. Now at this stage, you can use your calculator to get the final answer. But if you are not using the calculator or it is a non-calculator section, then what you have to do, you have to take 37 common. And what is left you have to write inside the bracket. So from the first term, 37 is common. What is left is square root 5, which is write it inside the bracket. Then there is a plus, and then 37 is already written outside, nothing left, so we will write 1. Why? Because 37 times 1 takes you again to the previous situation, that means 37, upon 5 minus 1 gives you 4. That is your complete answer. Let's practice another question to clear our doubts. The first step is you have to multiply and divide with the conjugate of denominator. And this method is known as rationalizing the denominator. Rationalize the denominator. So the conjugate of the denominator will be 4 square root 5 minus changes into plus, and the second term stay as it is, and whatever you are writing up you have to write in the denominator to balance the equation. Now multiply this 6x with both the terms by using the distributive property. So 6 times 4 gives you 24x square root of 5 plus 6 times 4 gives you 24x, divided by both the terms, both the brackets or both expressions are same and differ by the positive and negative sign. The first a you will use it as 4 square root 5, and for the b you will use 4, and use the formula a plus b, a minus b, which will gives you a square minus b square. Now a is 4 square root 5 square, so put here square, minus, so this is the minus formula minus, and 4 square. Now simplify the numerator and denominator separately one by one. Now here you have 24x common in the numerator, so what is left? You have been left with square root of 5, then plus this 24x is already written outside the bracket, so left only 1, divided by 4 square root of 5 whole square, it will gives you 80, minus 4 square gives you 16, so overall you will get 64. Or if you can use the calculator for simple calculations, so you will get 24x square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 64. 24 and 64, they goes in the table of 4. So you will get 4, 5, 20, 4 times 6, 24, and 4 times 1 and 4 times 6 gives you 24, and again they goes in the table of 2, that will gives you 3 over 8. And what is left in the bracket, that will be square root of 5 plus 1. Or you can even write the whole expression in the calculator to get the answer, but of course you cannot write the x, so only write 24 divided by 64 in the calculator. You will get 3 by 8 and the rest as it is. Let's take one more example and multiply. The first step, multiply and divide with the conjugate of denominator, and in this case it will be 3 plus square root of 2. Whatever you write on the top, you have to write the same thing in the denominator. Now open the bracket by using the distributive property. So 7 times 3 gives you 21x plus 7x times the square root of 2, you will get 7x square root of 2. Now what will happen with the denominator? Both the terms are alike, so you are going to use the formula, that is a plus b and a minus b equals to a square minus b square. So here a is the first term, that is 3, so whole square, minus b is the second term, that is the square root of 2 with square. Now on the top, 21x and 7x. So you know that 21 goes in the table of 7. 7 times 3 gives you 21. So what is common in them? That is 7x is common from, and the first and the second expression have the 7x common. So write it 7x outside the bracket and write inside what is left. So here 7x is outside, so what is left? 3x from the first term. Plus 7x is outside, so what is left inside is square root of 2 upon. Now write in the calculator 3 square minus square root of 2 is square, so 2 and square root 2 cancel, so 9 minus 4 gives you 5. So that is your complete answer. Now last question. So 3x over 5 square root 3 minus 4. What is the first thing? You have to write, multiply and divide with the conjugate of the denominator. And in the conjugate, what we have to do? We have to change the signs. Now after that, open the brackets for the numerator by using distributive property. So 5 square root of 3 times 3x, you will get 15 square root of 3x. You can use the calculator to multiply 3 times 5 square root 3. It will give you 15 square root of 3 and write the x as it is. Plus 3x times 4, it will give you 12x. Divided by, here you have a minus b, and in the second brackets you have a plus b, so you will use the formula a square minus b square. So in your case, a is the first term, that is 5 square root of 3 with whole square, minus second term, that means the 4 with square. Now write down 15x square root of 3 as it is and 12x as it is. Now in the denominator, you can use the calculator. Otherwise, this square goes on the 5 and also on square root of 3. So what you will get? You will get 75 minus 4 square gives you 16. So if you minus 75 minus 16, you will get 59 in the denominator. But what will happen with the numerator? There is 15 and there is 12. You know that 3 times 5, 15 and 3 times 4, you will get 12. So what is common among them? 3x is common among them. So from the first term, what is left? You will have 5x square root 3 left. Plus what is left from the second term? 3 is outside, so only left 4x. So that would be your answer. So I hope that you understand this kind of the question. Practice more questions, or there are 2 more questions written in the group activity. So practice them, and if you understand or if even you don't understand, please write in the comments. And if you like the video, kindly press the like button and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.